sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all, season 4 in the building.
40.
Unc and Phew. 4 4
That's
4. How you doing, my
40.
man?
Yeah,
Yes,
dude.
sir. We made it this
Well,
far,
man,
man. Yes,
I'm
sir. How you
doing
doing,
great.
Unc? Mm-hmm.
I'm doing great. Looking forward to the fourth season here. Pat
Yes,
ourselves on the
sir.
back when we started this thing out 4 years ago, right? I mean, I'm sure we imagined that we'd still be doing it, but like to actually be here and doing it feels great, man. I'm looking forward to the NFL season. Super hyped.
Let's do it, man. I appreciate you, Unc. It's nephew and Unc right here. Big Step in the building. Uncle Football in the building.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everybody who's out there, man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in, tuning in. Make sure y'all smash that like button. I might smash the like button right now to even support myself and the crew. Appreciate y'all
I
for
do
tuning
it.
in, people watching on the replay. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and
Yeah.
everything like that, man. Hey, man, season 4. You excited, my man? We gonna do this, man.
Yeah, super excited, man. Like, I really kind of followed along in the summertime and in the spring and sort of saw, doing this podcast with you has really reinvigorated my love of the NFL. Like, instead of just like hold
Sure.
on to my memories and all that stuff, I've been a lot more aggressive in that and getting in with the game again, right? So, peace and love to you for that, brother. That's awesome, right? So yeah, I definitely followed a lot of the happenings, different trades and whatnot, and I'm absolutely
Yes,
stoked to
sir.
see how it all bears fruit in this coming season.
Yes, sir, man. We have to start this one way and one way only, my man. We gotta talk about Spitgate, my man. We gotta talk about Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott, my man. The first game of the season. Unc, craziness, man. What are your thoughts? What were your
Yeah.
thoughts when you saw this
Well,
live, bro?
to me, that's
Mm,
the most despicable act in sports to do that. Like, I think that's a
man.
really low rent play, and it's a sign that you're out of your head, right? So,
Right.
and for Carter to like turn around and try to like put it out there, like, well, nobody knows how it started. Bullshit. We know Dak for 10 years now. Dak is pure
Mm-hmm.
class. He's the face of a 10 billion. Well, actually, I hear the Jets are worth 10 billion, so a $20 billion organization in Dallas, right?
Mm,
Dak knows he's the face of that franchise. He's handled
right.
it with aplomb and class for 10 years. In no world can I imagine him spitting on anybody, let alone in a football game on national television. Whereas we have Jalen Carter, on the other hand, who had a reputation for immaturity coming since he came out of college
Yeah.
into the league, right? So, yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's just a trash play by, I mean, you have to call it like a trash individual, certainly in that moment. Even his players are telling him publicly, disowning it, saying that he needs to rise to a higher standard.
I gotta keep it real with you, Unc. As disgusting as it was, I gotta go on Dak Prescott for a little bit, man. Dak
Okay.
initiated that and he triggered Jalen Carter to do that, man. He stared at Jalen Carter, spat on the ground, and taunted him and winked at him. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah, he
Jalen
did.
Carter shouldn't have fell for it. He should not have
That's
went
right.
in and retaliated because you have 60 minutes, maybe 3 hours of football to get Dak back.
That's
But
right.
Dak is smart enough to realize, yo, let's get the best player on defense out of the game. And unfortunately, Jalen Carter fell for it. And now
Well,
Jalen Carter might get a 1 game or 2 game suspension. I
yeah,
feel like, bruh, it would have been way worse if the Eagles lost. And for me, I'm not excusing Jalen
yeah,
Carter. I'm just saying I understand. A man spits on the ground looking at you, staring at you in the face, bruh. I don't
yeah.
know how I
But
react, bro.
But the
Man,
answer to that is to kick his ass behind the line of scrimmage, not spit
facts,
in his
facts,
face, right?
facts.
Let's all acknowledge that, right? So yeah, Dak, like I said, Dak's pure class, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have some gangster in him still, right? Like he knows how to get under your skin, get in your head, right? It's a veteran.
Hmm. I mean, that's a fact. And Jalen Carter would have been the number 1 pick if he didn't have off-field issues. Now, other
Yeah,
players know how to get under his skin. But
that's it.
despite that, bro, despite even the weather delays, 24-20, Dallas Cowboys lose, Philly wins. That game was up and down crazy, but I know one thing. Jalen Hurts played amazing. Dak
Yeah,
played pretty good. but CD Lamb's drops, brother, crazy.
CeeDee
Every
Lamb,
receiver, yeah, drop the
CeeDee
ball
Lamb is
straight
the
once.
CeeDee Lamb is the reason they did not win that game. It's
Facts.
unfortunate, but
Hmm.
Jalen Hurts is the reason Philadelphia won that game.
Facts.
Like their O line is just ridiculous, and Jalen Hurts is looking like he is going to be like the value option to all those suckers that overdrafted Lamar Jackson. Like he's looking like he's going to be of that form that he was like 3 or 4 years ago when Jalen
Facts.
Hurts was just a fantasy stud. Um, yeah, no, Philadelphia looked impressive pulling that game out. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, back to Dak for a second, right? I mean, it's
Yes,
it's
sir.
ancient. It's ancient to spit on the ground to try to test somebody, whatever. But most
Yeah.
people's response to that is either verbal or action, or they punch the guy in the mouth, right? Spitting on somebody is like punching somebody, but you ain't got the balls to do it. Something
Right.
holds you back, right? So again, I really hate that incident.
It was crazy because think about it like this: 5 seconds in the game, 5 or 6 seconds in the game, your best defensive player, boom, gets
And you're
ejected.
already committed to
That changed the
foolishness.
whole flavor of the game. And
Yeah.
even Dak said on the podium, the game plan changed. The
Yep.
game plan changed because of one guy. And my thing is, I want to big up Jalen Hurts. I want to big up definitely Saquon, who played really well. The run game was huge, which makes me think, bruh, when this guy got traded, the issue was the run game. The issue was the run game. And Dallas got destroyed by the run game. Unc, tell me what you thought of this Michael Parsons trade, brother.
The Micah
Let me hear your
Parsons
thoughts.
trade.
Yes,
That
sir.
is such a multi-layered conversation.
Mm,
But I have two words for that trade, which is
mm,
disastrous and unnecessary. Um,
mm.
Mika Parsons is a generational talent. He comes, guys like that come around every now and again. Like, you have an early lottery type of draft pick and he bears out. And, defensive guys like that rarely ever get traded, let alone in their prime.
Right.
So I found that whole trade to be preposterous in the first place, just on its face, that Dallas would let a player like that go in return for basically not a lot, right? Like they get two first
Yeah.
round draft picks, but guess what? Those draft picks are going to be in the 28 to 32 range. You're not finding another Mika Parsons down there in the first round of the draft. So
Right.
they did not trade value for value, and they got another player from Green Bay in return for it. But he's
Mm,
not anywhere equal to Micah Parsons. So in the end, Dallas is out. Micah Parsons. Period. That's it. That's the trade. When you're evaluating these trades, it's who got the best player. Period. That's the end of it. Never mind prospects. Never mind. It's player for player. And Dallas got, I won't say fleeced, right? Because there's other issues too,
mm.
right? Mika Parson has a lumbar issue. So for a 27, 28-year-old guy, right? Like that's
Yeah.
the type of that's the type of issue that only the strongest of us in society have to deal with temporarily while they're going through the
Right.
most pain known to a human, right?
Right.
So that's a big amount of pain that he's addressing. So there's that one niggling issue right in there. But otherwise, I
Mm,
feel like Dallas got fleeced simply because they gave away a guy like Micah Parsons and for all the wrong reasons. This is the next part of this. Jerry Jones is an absolute
yeah.
clown, trying to sell this idea that he's like this folksy old Southern guy who wants to sit on the porch with his good buddy Micah Parsons and work out a deal between gentlemen and, give me a freaking break, dude. It's a $150 million transaction. What kind of moron negotiates what type of moron negotiates a $150 million contract without a lawyer? And you might be the most experienced C-suite guy out there, right? Dominic
Yeah.
Foxworthy put it perfectly. Jerry Jones, you can't go out there and do what I do. What makes you think I can sit in a room and do what you do, which is crack dollars and make transactions and deals for 40, 50, 60 years of your life. And you think I could sit down with you and negotiate and that's a fair transaction? So don't buy into Jerry Jones's folksy bullshit. Oh, I do things on a personal handshake basis. Eat a bag of dicks, Jerry. That's garbage, right? He's just trying to find a way, to fleece the guy.
Of course, think about it like this, man. Michael Parsons 26, man. You're gonna
26.
negotiate with a 26-year-old and you've been running the Cowboys for like damn near 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about Jerry Jones is he's so old school that he's stuck in his ways, man. And let me say this. I think the trade is not that bad in hindsight. I'll tell you why. Michael Parsons was a locker room cancer, bro. The reports came out
Was he?
that
I did not know
he
that.
was not liked, especially because of his podcast. It was affecting members of the team, especially Dak Prescott, and people were annoyed that he was not performing in clutch situations, especially the playoffs. I'm telling y'all right now, man, I like Michael Parsons, but bro does not perform in the playoffs, man. And if you look at the NFC East, they're basically done. They're not making the playoffs. Washington is going in. Eagles are going in. Giants even look better. So Dallas Cowboys are
Yeah.
not making the playoffs. They're in rebuild mode. And I think they could have got more for Parsons for sure. But I think Jerry hitting the reset right now, I think it's a pretty good idea because, bruh, Parsons was not bringing them anywhere closer to a championship. And as great as Parsons is, man, I have my doubts about him, man. He's not a TJ Watt. He's not a
Yeah.
Miles Garrett. He's a great player, but I don't think he's at the upper level, man. So as
On the
much
other
as I
hand,
can go in on Jerry, I
yeah.
think it's not a bad idea to get rid of Parsons, in my
I,
point of
I
view, bro.
I
Mm,
personally don't think any one player is going to fix the problems that exist in Dallas. Dallas's issues are
facts, bro.
systemic and
Facts.
organizational, and they start with Jerry Jones. To me, this
Preach.
what Jerry Jones has demonstrated in this, if it I mean, unless this is all was all just a hot step to begin with, as far as Mika
Mm,
Parsons was concerned, maybe his intention was to get rid of him from jump. But why on earth would you wait this long? You could have got way more for him if you negotiated it further back, right? I mean, there were only so many
right.
people that had the salary cap room necessary. I think there were 5 teams in total that could have traded for
Mm,
the guy. Why on earth did you wait
yes.
until the last minute to shake up your team like this before the season starts? But more on top of
Mm,
that, it makes me question, like with his age, the same way we've questioned a few other octogenarians out there in executive positions in recent years in American culture, who shall remain
right.
nameless for the current and the past. But like, the type of decision that he made here reminds you of somebody who's he's not all there one way, one reason or another. And it's not the type of decision he might have made 10 years ago to just,
I
you know,
yeah.
let it,
I
go over
yeah.
this. Oh, I just don't deal with agents. Like, who buys that bullshit?
It's 2025. You're absolutely right. I can agree with you on that, bro. Too old to work as a GM and owner, man, especially as a GM. Because,
He's
bro,
never been
so many
qualified.
mistakes, never
He's
been
never been
qualified.
qualified to be
And I'm like,
GM,
even
period.
though
Let's
this
get
move, I'm not
that
that
on the
mad at it.
table.
At the same time, bro, you got to give it to somebody else. Stephen Jones, somebody with
Yeah.
modern aptitudes, who's ready to deal with agents, who's ready to take the mantle, brother. And I don't know, man. That this trade will definitely go down in history. We're gonna see if the Green Bay Packers can actually make a run. And I'm gonna tell you something. We'll see what happens. What are your thoughts about the Green Bay side, my man?
On the Green Bay side of it, yeah, sure. I think that
Hmm.
Micah Parsons makes them better immediately. Absolutely, I do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think their issues in Green Bay are more on the cornerbacks. Their cornerbacks are pretty soft, so Micah
Yeah.
Parsons better wreak havoc in that backfield because otherwise, opposing quarterbacks are probably going to wreak havoc on Green Bay.
Talking about wreaking havoc, man. Brazil game, my man. 27 to
Yeah,
21. The Chargers shock me. They shock me because I even texted you earlier. I'm like,
yeah,
look at the comeback. Chiefs are coming back. They did not come back, courtesy
yeah.
of a crazy game by Justin Herbert. 318 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air. He killed them on the ground too, man, with a clutch super clutch. Third down play to ice the game. 7 rushes, 36 yards. Omarion Hampton did his thing as well. Quentin Johnson. Who would have expected him? The man who drops everything, man. Crazy, crazy comeback. Justin Herbert
Yeah.
and the Chargers do the impossible in Brazil. What were your thoughts on that game, my man?
Well, it was must have been a great night for all the Quentin Jefferson truthers who were insisting all year long that he was the man this year. Like, finally, right, here we go, right?
Right.
And we've been hearing that for like 2 years at least or so. Well,
Mhm.
we certainly got shown something, on Friday night. Now, yeah,
For sure.
Justin Herbert was outstanding. Boy, he looked good, didn't he? 318 yards, three
Amazing.
TDs, 0 picks, and whenever he needed to run upfield, he managed to do it for a guy who's not really known as a runner. But he
Mhm.
basically was everything we expected Trevor Lawrence to be for the last 4 years and has not been, right?
Preach.
Basically that kind of
Preach.
guy. But he spread the ball all around, man. There wasn't Quentin Jefferson did not get 100 yards on the night. I don't.
Yeah.
I think he led them in targets, but Keenan Allen got like another 9 targets himself, and Lad McConkey got, I think, 8 targets or something like that. So all three
Yes, sir.
receivers and the tight ends got received targets. So that was a remarkable job by Justin Herbert to have done that.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, yeah. So we're really pleased to see all that. Now the Omari and Hampton thing I'll address, right? I know a lot of people were actually kind of disappointed with Omari and Hampton, for one, because he didn't score. Number two, because he only got
Right.
8.1 fantasy points. He was a #1 draft pick, and a lot of fantasy people drafted him thinking he was going to be a smash mouth RB who just dominates, right? But the
Right.
thing is, he was. He got the majority of the carries. He worked all 3 downs, but KC has a really good run defense. For all the things
Yes,
that
they
didn't
do.
work well for KC, Spagnola and that run defense most certainly did. So
Mhm.
Omari and Hampton's usage was good news. His overall results were disappointing for more than a few fantasy people, but do not give up on the guy. Yeah, do not give up on this guy.
Absolutely, man. Definitely Harbaugh is trusting him with the rock. And if you know anything about Harbaugh, he loves running the football, man. And I'm
Which,
telling you, he's gonna have a big season. The Chargers really impressed me, and the Chiefs got really exposed for not having a passing game, man. When this guy, Xavier Worthy, got knocked out by Kelsey, crazy. When he got knocked out, you just saw the receiving group is not it, man. The
yeah,
Chiefs, I don't know what's going on. They usually pull some devil magic at the end of games, but they could not do it, man.
no.
That offense is so bad. Mahomes is
And
struggling. The Chiefs are looking bad, fam. They are not looking good, bro.
and the Chargers D did look good, which is a Harbaugh
Yes, they
trait.
did.
And the funny
Hmm.
thing about it was that, yeah, everybody expected the Chargers to come out just run, 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 but they did the opposite.
Yes, they did.
Old Wiley Harbaugh knew who he was up against with Spagnola and that run defense, and said, "Screw it, man, we're going air," and they did, right? And for the
Yeah.
Chargers, yeah, let's address that Xavier Worthy thing, right? I avoided Worthy in drafts this year, despite the way the season ended. Like, he had a good second half,
Mm.
because I just kind of get the feeling that as fast as he is, and I've seen this before with real
Mm.
speedsters, the guys, the sub 4.25 guys, they're
Right.
sometimes a little fragile. It's like, in a way, give me a 4.4 guy or a 4.35 guy who's like 6'2 and 220. Like, give me Chase Brown, right? Give me
Yes,
Chase
sir.
Brown instead, right? Because he's just going
Hmm.
to beat up the cornerback and steal the ball, right? Xavier Worthy depends on his speed and his patterns. And you saw in that crossing pattern, like, his head was down. He wasn't paying attention. And you see,
Facts.
like, did you see Kelts come out of the game? Like, Kelts, like,
Yeah.
it was like a mosquito bit him or something, right? Because
Right. It was
Worthy,
nothing. He's a big guy. Yeah.
Worthy's fragile, right? So here we
Mm-hmm.
don't even know. A lot of people drafted Worthy as a wide receiver one, at least for the first half of the year, right? A lot of people tried to get
Mm-hmm.
slick. They're like, yeah, Rashi Rice is out for the season. Worthy's going to be the undisputed. I'm going to get 6 games of dynamite, right? And now Worthy's like might be out for all of those 6 games, right? So we're right back to the same situation with the Chiefs, right? Same back as we
Right.
were mid-season last year, where it's Hollywood
Right.
Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. Not that they haven't done some magic with those guys, but that was not the game plan coming out of the draft this year going into this season. It was supposed to be the return of Rashi Rice eventually and Xavier Worth holding down the fort currently. Now that whole plan is out the window. Kelsey's getting old and is not capable, I don't think, of 1,400 yards and 12 TDs again type of thing. So,
Right.
yeah, KC has some work to do. And on top of that, Pacheco was not super effective. He was
Right.
a violent, aggressive running self like he does. He has that unique style where he just takes it all on. But he was only getting like 3.2 yards a carry, no burst outs. Like he had burst, but he didn't burst out away from the line, didn't get into the secondary. So there's work to do in KC, man.
KC, man, that offense, you could just tell it was not explosive. It was not making plays, drop balls all over. But they made it a game around the end. And I'm going to give
Yeah.
credit to Mahomes. Mahomes had a crazy rocket throw, literally with like about 3 minutes left in the game. They were down, and he made the game closer. I'm telling you right now, when I'm looking at the AFC West, man, I think I have the Broncos and the Chargers better than the Chiefs. Unc, let's talk about. I'm saying this is one of the most interesting divisions in
Yeah.
football, my man. Pretty much everyone in this division has won some kind of championship. I'm talking about the coaches. It is a crazy, crazy division. Unc, what are your thoughts of the AFC West, specifically the Broncos, man? Because I don't know why, but I'm feeling the Broncos this season, my man.
We're gonna find out what the Broncos are about today, is my
Yes,
guess.
sir.
But it is sure looking like one of those classic NFC West or AFC West divisions where like 3
Mhm.
out of 4 teams at least are going to be competitive. I think the Raiders might be a year away from making that a 4-way jam, but we'll find out.
Mhm.
But anyways, yes, no, I think the Chiefs are extremely vulnerable to actually losing their division this year based on what I've seen so far. You can't discount all the coaching and quarterback and defensive coordinator equity that team has. Like you can't ignore it. And defense does win championships, but
Yes,
they're very
sir.
challenged offensively, whereas their partners in the division are not. For the first time in a while, Denver looks like it could score some points. The Chargers look like they definitely can score some points and stop some people. Denver has one of the best ranked defenses going in. So, like there's some real talent in the AFC West this year. So I'm looking forward to a lot of great games. And the Chiefs better better watch themselves. Or they might find themselves like having 6 losses and having to go through the wild card or something.
Definitely. And for me, I'm not gonna doubt the Chiefs. So I've done that a few times, but I'm telling you,
Yeah,
this division is a lot of fun to watch. I'm definitely circling them. We can go through a lot of divisions, but we're limited on time. So I
yeah,
really
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to highlight that
But
division. I'm
let me
telling you
just
right
say
now,
this
I got
though.
the Broncos winning a lot of games this season. Definitely do.
Let me just say this
Go
though
ahead,
about the
Uncle.
Chiefs, man. We doubted the Chiefs last year because they had to go squeak out a lot of wins, and they went 15-1 into the Super Bowl. So you're right. You
Yes,
cannot
it did.
discount the Chiefs, no matter what their struggles are, because defense does win championships.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And talking about championships, Unc, we have the moment of truth, my man. What are our picks, my man? Super Bowl and MVP. I might
Yeah,
have something that might surprise you, but Unc, I'm gonna let you go first. Who you got winning it, or at least making it to the final
yeah.
two, and winning that MVP trophy, my man?
Well, you're going to call me a cop out on this, but I can't get over the strength of the lines. I don't see a Super
Mm,
Bowl hangover for Philly. I think Philly repeats. Their offensive line and their defensive line are really good. They've got those shutdown corners on the defense. They've got a ton of offensive weapons. That tush push has been reinstated. Like, I just think Philly. I think Philly at least contests a repeat. And I think also on the other side, I'll make it simple. I'm not going to go through a bunch of analysis here, and it's Baltimore. I think Baltimore has their revenge year. I think Baltimore gets over the hump this year. Like, I just cannot, like, what more steps can the team take? That they haven't to this point. They could use better wide receivers, okay. But I mean, come on, man. The way Lamar is passing these days, like, he's such a good quarterback that I just feel like Baltimore now. And this is the funny thing, though, right? Of course, because the Buffalo truthers will, insert themselves here and say all of those same things also apply to Buffalo, and they're not wrong. I just think Lamar's better than Josh Allen, but it's not by much. It's not by much. And I also think that Baltimore's defense is ultimately better. And I think that Buffalo's run game is weak compared to Baltimore's. But both teams have the same mental issue to get over, and that's Mahomes and the Chiefs. So we're going to see it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great season opener between the two. Game of the week, highest score total. But we're going to see. We're going to see which of those two teams has that hunger. It's like if I'm both Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, I got a picture of fucking the Chiefs logo in my locker, right? Like, I see it every single time I suit up and every single time I come off the field, regardless of who I'm playing, because there's only one game that matters to both teams this year, and that's the AFC Championship and a Super Bowl. So 2 games, pardon me.
I feel you 100%, man. And yes, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. I got the Ravens making it to the Super Bowl. I do not have the Eagles though. That's my little difference. I have Washington, my man. I have
Yeah.
Washington. I'm telling you, something about that Washington, not only their defense, but obviously their offense. Debo Samuel's coming in to help. Jaden Daniels, I think he's going to take an even bigger step. I have a feeling they have some devil magic there down in Washington, D.C., or some kind of next level thing going on. I think the experience, the coaching, everything up and down. And I'm biased. You already know what time it is. I got my Ravens finally winning it all. But the difference is it's not only the experience, it's getting over the hump of Mahomes, the Chiefs, the AFC Championship game, and of course the Super Bowl. Let's see what happens. You got the
Yeah.
Eagles repeating. I got the Ravens winning it all for
I'll
the
tell
first
you.
time. Lamar taking it home. Let's see what happens, my man. Let's see what
I
happens.
do have some thoughts on the Commanders for you, quick though. It's
For
fascinating
sure.
though.
Go.
Look, it's fascinating. Look. We're sure all the talent exists in this small section of I-95
Yes,
between
sir.
Delaware and Philadelphia. No, my issue with the Commanders is my guess is that the Commanders will be better this year, but have fewer victories. I'm sure Jaden Allen is going to be very good, but I think they actually regress slightly because
Okay.
they had an outstanding year last year. They caught a lot of people by surprise, but they're all on film now. And it's really just a question of the defensive and offensive lines.
Right.
The offensive line is okay enough. We saw a lot of points get scored last year, but the defense in particular, I think we may see that today. And when we talk about the lines and spreads, I'll get into that a little bit more. But I think that you're going to see this season because look at all the very close games. The one score
Yeah.
games or less that the Commanders pulled out last year. Like luck
Yes,
was
sir.
their friend. They had a few like really super exciting game closing
The Hail
plays,
Marys. Yep.
right?
Hail
I,
Marys. Yep. Kickoff
to have
returns.
all that break your way again this year and then go even further, I think personally is unlikely. I'm happy to be proved wrong. I really do love that Commanders team. But I don't think they do it this year. I think they probably do it next year. But I'm really interested to see Jaden Daniels and McLaurin. That's going to be great. I've always been a big Scary Terry fan, and I'm really glad he's got the quarterback he needs. But I think the issues for the Commanders will be on the defensive side of the ball, unfortunately.
Hey man, that's why we have the games. We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. Shout
right?
out to Scary Terry getting his contract, man. I'm so
Yeah,
happy for him finally getting
really
a
happy
competent
for that guy.
quarterback after years of horrible play at QB in Washington, man. So I'm
There's
very
a
happy for
real connection with Jaden Daniels and him. And yeah, McLaurin, I'm
him.
pretty sure feels like, like, oh, I didn't realize that Santa gave me a quarterback for Christmas, but he did, you know.
Absolutely, my man. And now let's talk about MVP, my man. Who do you have as your MVP candidate for this year, my man? Let me know.
Yeah. Well, of course, on the like the league overall league MVP, like they're not going to want to
Mhm.
give it to Lamar again. Because it gets
No, they're
redundant.
not.
But I'm sure that he's just simply the best player of football, period, in the
Right.
NFL. Now, failing that, my guess is that they'll probably give it to Hurts again, right? Or maybe to Hurts.
Ooh,
But maybe
okay.
maybe to if Jaden Daniels really does blow up this year, I think he's a good candidate for that as well. Right.
Mhm.
So unlikely. We all know it's a quarterback award, right? So it doesn't matter how
Yeah,
special Ashton Genty is, no matter how much he ends up reminding us of Barry Sanders, it's going to be going to probably one of those three quarterbacks. Um,
mhm.
Dark horse out to maybe Justin Herbert or Trevor Lawrence or one of these kind of guys who really blows up this year. It'll be interesting and fascinating to see what Michael Penix can do for Atlanta.
Yes,
But
sir. I'm excited of him too. Mhm.
my guess is that it's going to be one of those quarterbacks on one of those three teams that we discussed up in the Northeast there, three or four teams. The other dark horse candidate on that, of course, is going to be Burrow. Burrow's going to have
Yes,
to try to
sir.
score 50 points a damn game. If that guy throws for 55 touchdowns and 5,500 yards or some stupid number like that,
Yeah,
it's going to be kind of hard to ignore him.
yeah.
So,
That's actually funny enough. That's who I have winning the MVP. I got Joe Burrow winning it
really,
for the simple fact that he will have to ball out to keep them in games, my man.
yes,
Because that
yes.
defense is so bad. He has to go for 45 touchdowns, 4,500 yards, and he has to go insane almost every game.
Yeah.
Just pure effort alone, I think he's
And he's
gonna
got the
show over the
ability.
top. He
He's got the
definitely.
ability and talent to do
Mhm.
it.
Yes, sir. So I got him winning the MVP for this season. But you're absolutely right. It
Interesting.
could be Jalen Hurts. It could be Jaden Daniels because these divisions are tough and they're gonna have the best teams in the
And they're
league,
going to
man.
be
So
winners. Exactly.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna break it down to some of our favorite things, and I think this kind of fits in our fantasy starts and sits, my man. Yes, I hope
Yeah.
everybody finished their draft. I hope everybody was blessed. Unc, let us know, man. Fantasy wise, who should people watch out for? Definitely, we drafted. We confident about our guys, but who should we maybe start a sit? What are you feeling for fantasy football fans out there? People getting ready for their season, man. Week one mode. How you feeling about it, my man?
Well,
Hmm.
by week one, we've all truly fallen in love with our draft and our play. We all have our certain players we want to start and whatnot. The
Yes,
classic
sir.
example being Omarion Hampton this past week, right? Like I bet you any money he was 101% started, right? Like,
That's a
um,
fact.
in some league where you could start, two guys in 1% or one position or two positions in one guy. Yeah,
Yes,
seriously,
sir.
no, seriously, he was like a smash start for everybody, right? But he
Hmm.
kind of let you down. But who did also smash? Javonte Williams in Dallas got two touchdowns, like 80 yards or
Yeah,
some number, 22 fantasy points. He's on nobody's must start list, but yet
nobody.
I bet you any money he's in the top 10 for running backs this weekend because that's an
Yes,
impressive line, right? So the
crazy.
biggest thing that we're looking for when it comes to fantasy is not necessarily all the players we fall in love with. I mean, if you drafted them, you're starting them, right? There's no getting around that. And
For
so one
sure.
of the things I'm not going to do here is tell you to start Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to tell you to start Saquon Barkley because these things are
Yeah.
obvious, right?
Yes,
But the
sir.
thing that we're looking for, if we're looking for, which flex player to start, because sometimes a lot of people have half a dozen flex players to choose from, and that's really where some people win their weekends, right? Is from that
Right.
flex position. So what I'm going to tell you here is it's just standard fantasy advice, but not enough people pay attention to it. And that is look for the highest scores of the week. Look for the games that Vegas considers are going to be like shootouts. Take, for example, the Cleveland-Cincinnati game or the Buffalo-Baltimore game, right?
Yes, sir.
But that can sometimes be tricky too, right? Because like Cleveland and Cincinnati are actually notorious for playing like really boring NFC games. They're like, finish like 22-20. But
Defensive efforts, yes.
statistics tell us that that's probably not the case. So that game is like slated for something like 48 points. So Carolina, Jacksonville, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Detroit at Green Bay, Baltimore at Buffalo are all 47 points to 50.5 points. These are the highest predicted scoring games of the week. So if you're looking for those gems, which kind of guy might like come out of nowhere and give you 20 points, you want to be looking on those type of teams. So who is that, right? So for your quarterbacks, like I said, I'm not going to mention Lamar. I'm not going to mention Josh Allen. If I have to tell you to start those guys, I'm not sure there's much more I can help you with, period, right? But for the quarterbacks, right? Penix is an interesting start. Jordan Love is a absolute must start in that situation. Baker Mayfield also, another guy that you could fully expect to be slinging the ball all over the yard, most likely. Joe Flacco's another one. Joe Flacco's an unsexy pick, but I bet you any money he's flinging the ball all over the yard today down there, trying to keep up with Joe Burrow. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, the other one that nobody's even thinking about, and unless you're in a QB league, you're probably not going to start him, to be realistic. But the way Bryce Young played down the stretch last year was very impressive. He has new offensive weapons, and he's playing in a game today against Jacksonville, which has got Liam Cohen, Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator from last year, who is now the head coach in Jacksonville. So we're looking at we're thinking that there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game, and Bryce Young will be the author of that. Trevor Lawrence, obviously, is the other one in that conversation. For running backs, again, I'm not going to tell you to start Derrick Henry, okay? We're just not doing that here, okay? But of that list of 5 games that I gave you there, good running backs are guys like Chuba Hubbard. Chase Young's another guy I probably shouldn't have to tell you about, but I will. He's the Cincinnati running back, and he's a 3-down back with the whole field to himself, right? These are the things that you're looking for sometimes is, okay, great running team. They have a fantastic performance, but they use 4 running backs to get there every week. No, I don't want that, right? I would rather have Tony Pollard in Tennessee on a crappy team, but Pollard's got the whole backfield. Like his handcuff is injured. Tajay Spears is injured. So, that guy's going to get 30 carries. It happened last year. That's where production comes from, right? So, And James Cook is the other one I would mention in there. He's going to be running in that Buffalo game. Caution on James Cook, though. James Cook scored an inordinate amount of touchdowns, running touchdowns last year, which is really remarkable in an offense where Josh Allen runs for a lot of touchdowns. So I think James Cook might be a regression candidate this season, but I'm happy to be proved wrong. Just careful, guys. For wide receivers, Tedero McMillan. Oh my goodness. I did not get enough of that guy in the draft this year. I really wanted more of him, but I had other things I had to take care of. But Tedero McMillan looks like a smash hit as a rookie wide receiver. The guy's 6'5", 220 wide body, right? Like we're not talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. or Xavier Worthy, who super fast, long arms. Everybody thought they were going to scoop up everything. This guy simply occupies space and makes it difficult for a 5'10", 6-foot cornerback to get in there anywhere, right? We've seen his type before. Now, the other wide receiver that might actually get some action again, because that Carolina-Jacksonville game is slated, it looks like it's going to have a lot of points. But Xavier Legette, who was coming on a little bit last year, also for Carolina, has the undisputed wide receiver 2 position with Jalen Coker on the injury reserve. And who is it? Who just got traded out of there. Classic guy, used to play for Minnesota. Got traded
Adam
back.
Thielen. Adam
Adam
Thielen, yeah.
Thielen. That's
He went
right.
to Minnesota. Yeah.
Who, by the way, Bryce Young turned into a remarkably productive wide receiver last
Yes,
year.
he did. He targeted him a lot. He was great for fantasy. I picked him up in
Right?
waivers. Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah. So quickly, another guy, a rookie, but Egbukwa is the guy who's going to fill in for Charles Godwin in that Tampa Bay
Yeah.
offense and has looked very good in the preseason. So he might be an interesting flex for you. And just Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers, they're not sexy names, right, for most people in fantasy. But again, we're talking about a game where 51 points is predicted and Lamar Jackson's throwing the ball. So
Yes,
he's made Rashad Bateman look pretty good on more than a few occasions. So they might be worthy for you. Like Zay Flowers is probably your wide receiver 1 or 2 anyways. But Bateman would be a good candidate possibly for your flex, right? I'll go through tight ends really quickly. Tucker Kraft in Green Bay in those absolute quality look. He may fulfill all the promise we've been expecting for a while now. Brenton Strange in Jacksonville is a name some people are talking about. They figure somebody's got to catch some tight end balls there, but that's no guarantee. That's definitely a more risky one. But Cade Otton, do we remember Cade Otton from last year? He was the tight end.
A little bit. Yeah, the Bucks. Was he on the Bucks?
He was on the Bucks, and he played in both of those like 500-yard game, 1,000 yards of offense games that Tampa Bay and Atlanta played last year between Mayfield and Kirk Cousins when they were both like throwing for 450, 500 yards. Well, Cade Otton caught 3 touchdowns as a tight end in those 2 games and did very well. And right now he got slid out of that role, so his production dropped off a little bit. But when he was the featured tight end and there were other injuries in Tampa Bay like there is now, Godwin is out, right? So it's going to be Mike Evans, this Egbukwa fella, and Cade Otton in, again, a very highly scored, highly likely for it to have a very high-scoring game. I personally picked up Cade Otton just because I'm nervous about how Evans is going to do in Denver. Like I know he's a good tight end and he should eat there, but what if Denver doesn't go on offense like we think they are? At least I know with Cade Otton, with Baker Mayfield, like that guy's going to get balls all season long as he's their number 1. So I kind of he's a down low sneaky link kind of tight end option for you if you didn't draft one of the big 3 early on. Other than that, Pittman's the obvious example for tight end in that Atlanta game. Even though everyone's still waiting on that promise to be fulfilled from Pittman, he's become a bit of a meme or a joke in fantasy as far as tight ends concerned, right? It's Michael Pittman time, right?
Kyle Pitts, man. I drafted him a few years ago, and I'm like, damn. The man has disappointed me so much. I stay away. I feel
So for a lot of people, he's toxic, but reality is that he's still their number 1 tight end in a game that's going to have a lot of offense. So if you take all the bias out of it, Kyle Pitts looks like an option. And of course, Kincaid in Buffalo and Andrews in Baltimore. Make of that what you will. And the last one, of course, is defenses, right? So for defenses, absolutely none of the above. They're going to be high-scoring games, right? So why would you have any of those defenses in your starting lineup? Instead, you want to be looking at teams that are looking to shut down crappy offenses. Like, for example, Arizona is going to visit the Saints, right? Saints are offensively challenged. The New York Giants, right? They're going to have a brutal pass rush this year, man, with Abdul Carter and the guys they already have on there. I'm looking for the Giants to wreak a little havoc today. So they might be a bit of a. And the other one is the obvious one is Denver. Like a lot of people want Denver. They're playing the Tennessee Titans today. That's probably your safest pick as a defensive special teams in your fantasy today. But the other one that looks to be good is the Seahawks. Seahawks have a remarkably good record at their home field. Like over the last 8 or 9 years, they're like 7-1 in opening home games at home. Meanwhile, San Francisco was putrid on the road last year and is a little challenged in their receiver room as well. Also, Seattle's defensive line and defense in general has been enhanced. They're considered to be sort of a candidate for top 5 defenses this year. So look out for
Okay.
that one. Believe it or not, against the San Francisco 49ers, the Seahawks may be an excellent defensive and special teams play today in fantasy.
Nice, nice. Crazy good breakdown. Appreciate that, Unc. I'll just give some of my little tidbits, man. I really, really like this guy, Matthew Golden, the rookie that
Mm,
came out of Green
yeah,
Bay. If you get the chance, pick him up, put him in some kind of flex position. I think he's gonna ball out with Jordan
yeah.
Love. I think it's gonna be good. For me, I this guy has already went pretty high, but if you get your chance to get Tyler Warren, I think him
Woo.
and the quarterback, I forget his name. I'm blanking out. Daniel Jones, my bad.
Daniel
He's going
Jones.
to ball out. I know I didn't expect it, but Daniel Jones won the job. Crazy,
Well,
but
who
I
else
think
is he
Tyler
going to
Warren's
pass
gonna
to,
be a
right?
great. Pardon me.
Like
What was
Daniel
that?
Daniel Jones doesn't go downfield, so that takes out
No, he does not.
Pittman and Dotson or whoever that other guy is there, right? So
Yes,
who's he
sir.
got left? This rookie,
Tyler
huge,
Warren.
wide body who's like knocking off defenders left to just toss him the ball 6 yards and let him rumble for 10 more. That's what we're gonna see
Exactly,
with.
man.
That's what we're gonna see with this Warren guy. He's another guy I didn't get nearly enough of in my drafts this year. Lord have mercy, he's gonna be. I wish I'd got that guy.
I'm telling you, he's going to be really, really good. And I really like this running back from Cleveland. I've always forget his name. Oh, he's not playing.
Judson,
Judkins,
yeah,
I think. I don't think
yeah,
he's playing tonight, unfortunately,
no,
but I would even go Jerome Ford. Whoever is running back for the Cleveland Browns is going to have a big, big, big time game, especially because the Bengals give up so many yards to running backs.
yeah.
I would start him. Obviously, you already said Chase Brown. Chase Brown will definitely be a must start. Jerome Ford, if you can pick him up on wires, I'm telling you, Cleveland is going to have a very good offense, especially
The
against the Bengals' horrible defense.
the
So
the
those are the people I would circle on, man. Yes, sir.
The
What's
other
up?
name in that mix in the Cleveland backfield is a rookie named Dylan Sampson, who people have
Mm,
said good things about as well. Yeah, the Quinshon Judkins thing is interesting. Well, not really interesting, but it's curious to find out what's going to happen there. Apparently,
mm,
he's by far head and shoulders the better running back of the 4 they have there. But he hasn't practiced at all. He hasn't played at all.
yeah.
He's not in football shape, the fine-tuned football shape you need to be to perform in the NFL. Because there's a domestic assault case that's been dropped in the local
Oh,
district where it occurred. But
oh
the
no.
NFL wants to look into it themselves before they just, let him go. I don't even think he signed yet. So
Really? Oh,
yeah,
snap.
there's a lot of questions on that guy that are outstanding, and we'll find out what the final disposition is. Yeah, he's one of those guys that you grab him and stick him in the IR spot if you can, because he might
Right.
come out in the second half of the season and just blow up everybody's league.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll say this, you kind of touched on this earlier, man, with some kind of lines and spreads, starts and sits. Let's go through 3 games that you really, really circle up on what you think that
Yep.
maybe some people can put some pennies on, man. What are you feeling, my man? Mm-hmm.
Well, the first one is I'm going to take, like I hinted at earlier, is I'm going to take the Giants to cover that 6-point spread.
Nice.
Like I said, the Commanders they played twice last year, both times under 6 points, I'm pretty sure. And the
Mm,
Commanders were the beneficiary of many, many, many close under 1-score game wins last year. So I'll expect more of that today, I'm hoping.
mm,
Seattle is plus 1.5 at home. We alluded to that just a minute ago, so I'm definitely all in on Seattle at 1.5
nice.
at home. Like I said, 7-1 in home openers there, and San Francisco was just terrible on the road last year. The other
Yeah.
one I like is I'm a little more nervous about this one, but Green Bay favored by 1.5 at home, division rivalry against Detroit. It's Detroit's first game with 2 new coordinators, and also Jared Goff is sort
Yes,
of got the
sir.
nick. He's got the nickname as being and reputation as being what they call an indoor cat. He's become quite accustomed
Mm,
to playing. Like the guy plays 12 out of 16 games, 17 games indoors at least.
Right.
And he has not played that great in Green Bay historically over the last couple of years in that outdoor setting, and they're in
Mhm.
Green Bay today. So I'm going to say that I'm going to go with Green Bay on this one.
Alright.
Hopefully Josh Jacobs makes the best of all that, and Jordan Love can launch a few downfield, see what happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this kind of goes with something I thought about. I think the Lions are going to regress, my man. I think they're going to regress in the Packers, man. They can only go up. I love what I'm
Yeah,
seeing, and they're older now. They were such a young team before. I think it's
yeah.
going to be a good one, man. I really like your analysis there, man. And for me, just one game I really want to circle is this Houston Texans versus Rams game. Matthew Stafford is coming in. They
Yeah,
got they're favoring right now. I think the Rams by 3.5. I think
three.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be I think it's gonna be tighter than that. I think it's
yeah,
gonna be tighter than that. CJ Stroud is coming back. He's balling. He's looking good. Nico
yes,
Collins, I think that offense is gonna explode. And I think the Rams might struggle a little bit because they haven't had Matthew Stafford in the lineup, even during training camp, as a back issue, right? So I think it's
yeah,
gonna be closer than y'all expect. So that's the game I'm really circling around to
yes.
watch.
It
Yes, sir.
yeah, it's going to be difficult to call for sure. But
Mm,
yeah, I heard one analyst say like whatever you do in that game, just take the under. They don't think it's going to be
yes,
high
sir.
scoring. And
Mhm.
part of that too is the Texans O line is not, that's the one weakness in their game.
Mm.
But both teams have a ridiculously blitzing defense. Like both teams
Yes,
have
they
really
do.
wicked pass rushes. So yeah, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. And at 3 points, yeah, I like, that's a tough one to
I don't
call.
see
I
that.
don't think either team is going to win by more than 3 points. Like it's just a wild one to try to. That's one I stayed away from for all of those reasons.
That's very fair. I definitely would take the under because they're saying 43.5. I'm taking the under on that. And definitely I don't see 3.5. I think it's gonna be a mad close game. Maybe like a 17-14 type game. No, probably like
It's got 2017 written all over as far as I'm
yeah,
concerned.
something like that. 2017. Definitely, definitely. Hey man, I like this lines and spreads. Shout out to Unc for his analysis. Shout out to me for some analysis too. I got some in.
Dude, you're the host with the most, brother. Ain't nobody talking you up because it's your show, man. But of course, it's
Hey,
assumed all your analysis is on point. I'm just here for
appreciate that,
counterpoint.
Unc. I think we gotta wrap this up, man, with some OGs of the game, man. Let me tell you something. This was one of my favorite segments last season. We brought in the OGs, bringing in history of the game. Unc, do you have an OG you want to highlight today, my man, as we start season 4 of Unc and
Well,
Phew?
yeah. The
Mm,
OG status is always a little bit relative as the game gets longer and longer in the tooth, right? Like
right,
who is the OG? Who is the original, right? I mean, are we going to talk about Lombardi here and all that type of shoot? I mean,
right.
Lombardi was getting dated when I was coming up watching the game, right? I mean, I probably would have got slapped around by guys 20 years older than me for ignoring him as like OG of the game, right? But like,
Facts.
let's talk about this in real terms and try to maybe like OGs of the last generation or so, right? And and I tell you, I settled in on about three guys that would be considered to
Mm,
be like OGs nowadays, but by the modern generations and even my generation, right? For heaven's sakes, and that's
mm,
like Marshall Falk, Steve
okay.
Young, and Randy Moss. And I'll tell you why I choose those guys.
Mm,
Marshall Falk being like a guy who could receive like 80, 90, 100 passes a year and still run for like 1,400 plus yards.
yes, sir.
Remarkable to have like both a wide receiver and running back in one player. Well, we have
Mhm.
seen that though. Some of the best players nowadays in the running back position. I mean, unless you're a guy like King Henry who can just like dominate for 3 downs
Right.
through the middle, like there aren't many guys like that. But look at Saquon Barkley last year, right? Look at that
100%.
season. Look at that season that he had, but the type of season that he had. He had a lot of
Mhm.
receiving yards to go with it. We've seen, what's his face there down in
Alvin
New
Kamara.
Orleans, right? Like
Alvin
year
Kamara,
after
yup.
Alvin
Mhm.
Kamara, year after year after year of 75, 80, 90 catches, 100 targets. Like that's a lot of production out of the running back position. And he's
For
the
sure.
ideal candidate for that now, right? And the same thing could
Mhm.
be said of Steve Young. Steve Young
Mhm.
came around. He got drafted in the late 80s, spent some time in the USFL
For
before he,
sure.
made his way into the San Francisco ecosystem. But the thing that was
Mhm.
absolutely unique about him, and not enough people recognize it, is that he was sort of the original running quarterback, a guy who could
Yes, he
seriously
was.
put up like big yards on top of throwing for 3,500 because it was less of a throwing league back then. But he had one season where I think he ran for like 900 yards or some crazy number like that.
Yes,
And
sir.
Michael Vick directly credited Steve Young as sort of like an example of what he was trying to accomplish. So guys like Michael Vick and every running quarterback now, from Drake May to
Mhm.
Bo Nix, owes their game template. The fact that coaches let you even play like that, they owe that to Steve Young. And the other one I want to pick is Randy Moss, right? Because every time we're looking at
Hey.
Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and all these guys going
Yes,
35
sir.
yards
Real OG.
downfield, doing the
Real
jump
OG.
ball, just putting up ridiculous numbers, game changing
Moss.
numbers,
Yo.
150, 200 yards, 2, 3 touch. Like Randy Moss was the first guy to do that type of thing, right? He
Mhm.
was the first guy to really dominate the wide receiver position and make it so that like like it changed your options.
Oh,
And
yes.
and he just and he just demanded the ball and like he was the original wide receiver diva in the modern generation. But like when you're that good, you got a right to demand the ball. And we see that from guys like Jamar Chase and Jefferson. They're like, I'm always open. like
Facts.
who was it who said? I think that was Jamar Chase who said that, right? He's like, dude,
Yes,
when you're
sir.
open,
24/7. Yeah,
he's
7-Eleven.
he's like, I'm always open, bro. Just like put it up.
Yes, sir.
So you gotta have that type of confidence, and yeah, Randy Moss was the first guy to do that. Like just full on attitude, like I ain't taking no shorts. Give me the damn ball, right? And
Yes, sir.
so yeah, so those are some OGs I would highlight to bring that to a conclusion on that conversation for sure.
Appreciate that, man. And one thing I want to mention about Randy Moss, he recently beat his cancer diagnosis.
Oh yeah,
Shouts out to him.
we
He was
heard that,
unfortunately going through that. So shout out to Randy, the legend.
dude.
I'm gonna tell you one memory I had about Randy Moss.
Hold
One of
on
the
a
biggest.
second. I got
Go
to give
ahead.
I got to give a brief shout out to my sister-in-law Gloria,
Oh,
who also just beat cancer this weekend.
congratulations,
Right,
man.
right
Yes,
on.
sir. I love that. I
Right.
love
So
that.
we love that type of news for everybody and especially the people we love. Yes. So carry on.
100%,
Sorry.
man. So no, don't need to be sorry, man. You got to give a shout out for that, man. One
Yeah.
memory I have about Randy Moss, really the worst, was when he joined the Pats, man. Him and Brady, that record-breaking season. I had to watch this man destroy the entire league, man.
It was
And for
insane.
me, that's when I started getting into football because I wasn't into it in the 90s as much.
Yeah.
And then once I really became a fan, Randy was dominant, especially with the Pats. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it
You
was
would have been
football
like
game numbers.
14
It
or
was
15. You would have been
insane.
like what, 14 or 15 in 2007, right?
Oh, absolutely. I was maybe 12. I was even younger than that. You know what
Shit,
I
dude.
mean?
That was an insane. That was almost like a cheat
Ooh,
code. That wasn't fair given
ooh.
given Brady, Randy Moss on that team. Like the only satisfaction out of all of that is that they lost the Super Bowl.
Yes, when the Giants beat him, I was so happy. But let me tell you, just as a pure talent, my man, he killed the game.
Oh yeah.
I believe, made Brady even better as a quarterback
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
improved
yeah.
that New England team. So shout out to the legend, Mister
Except
Randy Moss, man.
except for
Mm,
oh shoot, his name is eluding me right now. Big huge guy in Detroit. Except for him,
mm.
Randy Moss
Calvin
is
Johnson, Calvin
Calvin
Johnson.
Johnson.
Yes,
There we go.
yes, sir.
I was about to call him Calvin Ridley, and I didn't. didn't want to do that.
Definitely better
Um,
than Calvin Ridley.
yeah, yeah, definitely more dependable. But yeah,
Yes, sir.
except for Calvin Johnson, hands down, Randy Moss to me, like I think Randy is better than Calvin overall, but Calvin just
Mm.
physically fits the prototype more. But like Randy, because that's the other thing, right? Randy was kind of a skinny mother, right?
Yeah,
But
Randy was a little string bean. Yeah,
he's like
yeah.
6'4", but that just shows you how tough he was, right? 6'4", and he could handle those guys, or 6'2", or whatever he was. But is. But anyways, yeah, no, Randy Moss really to me was super exciting guy because also
Yes,
too,
sir.
right, when he first came into the league, 98, can't remember whether it was Warren Moon or Dante Culpepper that got him as a rookie, but
Mm.
like it was just so much fun to watch. Really was. Those Minnesota teams of the late '90s were just fantastic, and Randy Moss was an integral part of it.
Shout out Randy, man. You know what? The OGs of the game. Shout out Unc, man. Shout out to everybody who tuned in, man. Season 4. I'm excited, man. We gonna run it, my man. Thank you, everybody who tuned in, who hopped in. Shout out to Not Your Average Handyman who came in, putting some money on Green Bay. I said
All
that since we
right.
the show. Appreciate everybody watching on the replay. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, especially like. That helps us grow the most, man. It's been nephew. Unc Football. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and
One
peace.
love, guys, and we'll see you all
Oh,
next week, man.
yes, sir. Deuces.